Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. In this video, I'll tell you about illegal aliens set for deportation from the Philippines, who do Filipino people want as the next US president, expats shanking other expats in Thailand, the owner of that white SUV from yesterday's video found, plus much more. Let's jump straight into our main topic. The Bureau of Immigration in the Philippines is planning to deport 8 foreign nationals, 6 Chinese men, 1 Vietnamese man, and a Chinese woman who were arrested in Muntinlupa City on October 22nd. The operation, carried out with the help of the Department of Justice and the NBI, targeted individuals involved in online scams. The suspects, who were undocumented, were arrested in different locations within Ayala, Alabang village. Some have overstayed while one entered illegally. BI Commissioner said that these arrests come as authorities tackle smaller scam groups emerging after the closure of large pogos. Yes, because the end of the year is coming up and all those pogos are being shut down, and I'm sure all these people dispersing like, let's go ahead and do this on our own. Smaller groups are forming in the Philippines, and the BI is cracking down on those. And of course, with the US elections happening right now, actually, by the time I'm making this video, I don't think it's clear who won it, but I'm sure by the time you guys are watching this, you might have an idea. And this next story is about who do Filipinos want as the next US president. But early results are saying that Trump has won. Anyways, let's get into our story. A recent survey shows different opinions between Filipinos in the Philippines and Filipino Americans regarding US presidential candidates. Among Filipinos in the Philippines, 18% favor Donald Trump, while 14% support Kamala Harris. A majority of 52% are undecided or unfamiliar with either candidate, and 16% say election outcome doesn't impact the Philippines, in contrast to Filipino Americans, largely who support Harris. Analysis suggests that Trump's popularity may be due to his higher visibility as a former president and his strong stance on China, which resonates with some Filipinos concerned about tensions in the South China Sea. Of course, if you know your politics, you would know that the Philippines and the US are very connected, and there's a lot of bases in the Philippines. I don't know if a lot, but I know there are some at least. I don't know anything about it, but this would explain why some people would favor one president over the other, because depending on which party wins, their stance on China will affect Philippines probably in some way, shape, or form. Okay, staying in the Philippines, according to the Lieutenant Colonel Maria Teresa of Cebu, each police station has been directed to monitor the carolers in the respective jurisdiction to prevent them from boarding public utility vehicles. Basically, during this time of year, a lot of people go out there, start singing. Jinga, 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 jinga bells, jinga bells, jingle all the way. About Christmas music and all that. Some people playing the guitars, instruments, maybe groups of people, and the police don't want these groups and carolers to be on public transportation like buses and jeepneys and all that. I guess it makes sense. They might take up space. And yeah, let me know what you think of that. Do you think it's okay for them to be doing it on buses and public utility vehicles? Or do you think, nah, it should be kind of like off limits when it comes to caroling on public transportation? And then over 100 unit owners at Urban Deca Homes in Tipolo, Mandaue City have had their water supply cut off due to non-payment of condominium dues for over a year. Outstanding dues for most owners range from 50,000 pesos to 80,000 pesos. Currently, around 90 unit owners have settled their dues and have had their water supply restored. Pay your bills, right? It's a coincidence because the first ever home Airbnb I stayed at was at this particular condominium complex at Deca Homes in Mandaue City. So yeah, kind of a cool coincidence. Next up, the Philippines unemployment rate hit 3.7%. The Philippine Statistics Authority recorded a total of 1.89 million unemployed Filipinos, my voice cracked, in September. Seems pretty low, but I don't know what they consider unemployed. I don't know if this is like a stupid assumption by me. I just thought based on island time, Filipino time, and just like the lack of opportunity in some areas, I would have assumed that percentage be a little bit higher, but obviously I'm wrong according to the statistics here. So let me know, what do you think of that? Did you know that only 4%, less than 4% of Filipinos are actually unemployed? Pretty impressive if you ask me. And then yesterday I covered a story about a driver of a white SUV that has the license plate 7, which is only reserved for senators and stuff, and basically it's a fake one, who tried to run over a police officer, and now they've caught the driver. Oh, they didn't catch him, but he turned himself in. The driver of a luxury sports utility vehicle with a protocol plate for senators who illegally used the EDSA busway on Sunday, November 3rd, has surrendered to the Land Transportation Office. Yeah, and I really hope that they, like, that ain't no joke. So from my understanding, there was a driver and there was somebody behind him. That man behind, he sounded Chinese to me. He was speaking Mandarin or some Chinese language. And the driver, I think, is a Filipino. Listen, I'm not doing this whole, like, this has nothing to do with Chinese propaganda. I feel like the past, like, every single story that I bring to you guys, it's not because I'm making it up, right? So it just seems like a lot of the illegal activities being committed by one nationality. Somebody in the comment section said, hey, if you want YouTube algorithm to favor you, go ahead and not criticize China. I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just letting you know what the news is. This is not like a debatable thing. Crime bad, you know? So, and if China's committing them, or Chinese nationals, then that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna like shy away from the nationality just because I want YouTube algorithm. I don't even understand how that would work. But regardless, that's just what I got from that video. If you guys want to check that out somewhere, you can find it, I'm sure. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but I feel like it was just the driver who was a Filipino. But yeah, let's go on to our next story. Next up, in Cambodia, award-winning Cambodian journalist Mek Dara has decided to quit journalism after his recent arrest, citing a loss of courage following his detention and subsequent release on bail. Dara, known for his investigation into cyber scam and trafficking, was arrested on September 30th for allegedly inciting social disorder. He was later released after apologizing to former leader Hun Sen and Prime Minister Hung Mane. Dara, who received the U.S. Senate Department Hero Award for his reporting on trafficking, says that the experience crushed his spirit, making it too difficult to continue. International press freedom groups expressed concerns, noting that his departure weakens independent journalism in Cambodia, where press freedom has dwindled under government pressure. Cambodia ranks poorly in global press freedom indexes, with authorities frequently using illegal actions against journalists and activists.
Really crushing my soul. The show that always with me, like no matter what happening, I continue to reporting, but that spirit or soul is not with me anymore. And
pretty sad, you know. I'm in no way, shape, or form a journalist or an activist, but I really wouldn't be surprised if one day here, knock on my door, somebody say, hey man, you gotta stop making these videos. But these are the true journalists that go out there, do independent research, and they basically expose crimes. But of course, when it happens such high level of government, politicians, and foreign governments and investors involved, if you guys don't know, Cambodia for the past 10 years has really developed. I was just recently there, and people would tell me that these buildings would not be here. There's entire towns that have been switched over to like casinos and like basically the Las Vegas of Asia. And when the pandemic happened, a lot of this investment stopped. And now there's like empty places, a whole backstory, a dark side to all these pogos, basically. Let's go to Thailand. In Koh Samui, residents were shaken by the arrest of a Danish tourist, Asger Plaug and Borg, found wielding weapons and making threats in public. Police responded to reports of Mborg pointing air rifle and brandishing a machete, causing distress among locals and tourists. Authorities arrested Mborg, discovering a cache of weapons in his room, including air rifles, knives, and samurai swords. Currently, he is undergoing psychiatric evaluation and drug testing to determine the reasons behind his alarming behavior. This incident has raised concerns about public safety in popular tourist areas. There's nothing new. This Thailand, bro. These are like daily happenings. I just can't and will not cover most of them. But it's nothing new. It's because Thailand receives almost 30 million tourists annually, and those are the recorded ones, and not counting all the people that are there permanently, long-term, or just illegally. And stuff like this happens very, very regularly, right? So, you know, it's just another tourist and foreigner doing bad things. Staying in Thailand, a couple in Ayutthaya fell victim to a scam where men posing as administrative officers extorted 250,000 baht by claiming they found untaxed goods in the truck. The truck driver initially mistook them for police, but soon realized the deception. After negotiating, the extortionists demanded a hefty sum, claiming a similar truck had paid 100,000 baht. The incident is under investigation as authorities seek to determine the men's true identities. Police are committed to pursuing justice against those involved. Yeah, I mean, you're a foreigner, and if a police officer pulls you over, it's very rare somebody's going to ask them for credentials, right? So people do this stuff because they know that we just don't have the same rights in other countries, right? So sometimes people get scared to give whatever money they have, and 100,000 baht is like $3,000, so it's a lot of money to be given out to random strangers on the road. And then in Pattaya, Thailand, a disagreement between two tourists turned dangerous at their local market. Police reported that a late night at November 6th, Russian woman, Miss Spiridonova, was with her friends when she had a dispute with a man. Witnesses said that the man left briefly but returned a few minutes later. When Miss Spiridonova confronted him, the argument quickly got out of control, and the man hurt her with a butter knife. Afterwards, a bystander, Mr. Key, tried to take the butter knife away, but the man managed to escape. Her friends think that the man, who may be her estranged husband, acted out of jealousy. Police are now searching for the man and reviewing security cameras to help find him. Russian manned him. By the way, I hope you understand it's not actually a butter knife, so a regular one, let's say it that way. And lastly, an Israeli man was fined for riding his motorcycle on a beach in Phuket, saying that he did not see any signs. Buddy, there's not going to be a sign for that. They expect you to know better and to do better as a tourist. Riding a motorcycle on a beach, yeah. Anyhow, and now it's time for a segment called Yesterday Today, where I talk about the most popular comments regarding our previous video. Jim says, I'm in the Philippines, but I pray Trump wins. It's crazy at home and 4 more years under the current would destroy it. And Toby also says, Donald J. Trump. Brian says, hopefully Naya will get the improvements needed soon. By the way, the improved renovated Clark Airport is a much better facility now. Great job, Clark. And speaking of the airports, Alvin also says, I fly to Clark. It's better airport in all ways. And that's why I fly direct to MCIA, skipping Naya, says Neil Gonzalez. And that's it for this video. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about the winner of the President of the United States, whoever that may be. And that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.